we're going to take the jaw off. We're going to take the tracer out. We're going to take the F22 cutter and we're going to slide it all the way up in there to about where the actual cutting piece starts. And we're going to lightly lock it back down again. You'll be using your Allen wrench that comes with the machine to do so. Now I'm going to take my tracer and slide it up in there and lock it into place ever so lightly. Insert our jaw. Lock our jaw back down. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually undo the 2 set screws that I just locked those units down. And when I do so, I want the tracer and the cutter to both drop down, and then lower your head unit here, as you can see, all the way down to where you actually put your cutter in the last time, and lock it in. Now I'll go in and re-lock in the set screw for both. Okay? And after we do so, that makes our cutter and our tracer at the right height to cut keys without damaging our jaw. You don't ever have to worry about this again, unless you break a cutter. If you break a cutter, then you need to redo this process. Okay, now the screen actually says calibrate cutter now and click OK. We tell it alright, and our machine actually moves back to home position and she's ready to go. Okay, now what we get to do is since we've done this, we have now calibrated our machine, we've calibrated our cutter, and now we're ready to start cutting keys. But for all of you to actually let you learn what the menu is actually about, so that you understand this all, is we need to tell you a little bit about what the menu means. The menu here is, it tells us how many keys that we actually have in our system. The next one is going to tell us what manufacturer to select. So we're going to actually click on the little arrow box, and then after that we're going to be ready to click on whatever manufacturer, and we're going to go click on Mercedes. So all we have to do is hit M, and then all of a sudden there's Mercedes, which actually in order would be Master, Mazda, Mercedes, Mitsubishi, and so forth. So we want to click on that, and now we want to choose what type of key we want to use. So in this procedure, I'm going to use an S48, which is the actual 4-track for Mercedes. When I double click on this, it tells me the manufacturer DSD, which is 8. It tells me the manufacturer, which is Mercedes, the key type, which is S48 HFP. Space is going to be the spaces, which are 8, depths, which are 6, stop, which is the shoulder stop, what track type key we're using, which is a 4-track, a cut, which is external cut, which means it's going to cut the exterior of the key, a key blank, which is actually going to be S48 HFP again. The step that we're actually going to be using is what it's going to actually move over to for you to lower your head down, and jaw is jaw 1. So now since we've done this, we can actually go over to the boxes, which is going to have all the spacing depth. Side A is the left side of the key, and side B is the right side of the key. Now we can go in there and type in any depths 1 to 6. If we type any more than that, it's going to allow you to know that it's not what we need. It'll be too many. We'll hit enter. It's going to come up with the start. And now we're going to actually tell it to start. And the machine is actually going to move over the first step in there, because that's what our step was 1. And now what we want to do is we want to actually lower this cutter down and let the tracer actually touch the top of the tracer calibration unit. Now if you go over to the machine, it's actually going to tell you, please lower the cutter down, and then click retry. So we're going to actually hit retry. we're going to go back over to show you the machine, what it's actually going to do. And we're going to tell it to retry. Now she's going to come across the top and actually act as if she's cutting a key. Okay, as you've seen on the external type key, it cuts the passes twice on both sides, assuring that we get all the metal off of the key. And now what I'm going to do, Lexus, and we want to do a Lexus key. Okay, we want to choose the Toyota 48P, which is the actual short key for Lexus. We'll double click on it, and now it changes all of the variables in all the boxes to allow you. Your main things you need to be concerned about is your key type, how many spaces you have, how many dips you have, the tip stop, which needs to be looked at because you need to make sure which tip stop you put it at. It's a 4-track, but it's internal as it shows here. And then of course the key blank number. Now the step that it's going to go to should be step 1 because we're using jaw 1. Now, we actually can only type in 1, 3, or 5 in this one because that's the only values that will allow you in a Lexus of this type. So once we have all of our numbers in our box, then we're going to hit enter. Then it's going to tell you to start. And what it's going to ask you to do, because you are doing a BMW key, it's going to ask you, please lift the cutter and then click start again. In doing so, you cannot, by any means, keep trying to do this because it's not going to let you. As you can see here, every time I try to start it, it's just going to quit. It's not going to let me do this. So now you're going to actually have to lift the head up. You have to lift the head up on the actual machine. Okay? Now, we can actually come over here and we can actually click OK. Now we're going to go back to our start button and she's actually going to start working for us and move over step 1. We're going to do as we did before on the Mercedes, and we're going to lower it down, lock in our unit, and now our machine actually tells us to lower the cutter down and then click retry. So we're actually going to come back over here and we're going to actually get to watch us do this. Now she's actually going to come in and cut a Lexus key. Okay, now after it cuts the key, of course, we flip it over and cut another key. But if we actually cut another Lexus key, we don't have to worry about lifting the head up. I can cut 50 Lexus keys in a row without ever lifting the head up. Only when you change from one manufacturer to another is it going to ask you.